Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat, Shell, Dante, the dark job. Drop the stats on them. Drop the facts on them. Spur game, baby. Let's get it on.
Hey, fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to another edition of Eagles Talk, the #1 Eagles coverage show on Facebook that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. Big news today, our former quarterback Carson Wentz has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts in return for a third-round draft pick this year and a conditional second-round draft pick next year. This second-round draft pick can turn into a first-round draft pick if one or two things happens. Carson Wentz plays 75% of the snaps of next year, or he plays 70% of the snaps and the Indianapolis Colts make the playoffs. Either one of those two situations happens, and we get a first-round pick. So, in essence, they don't look like they're hard accomplishments or incentives to make. In essence, if everything goes well, we get a 3 and a 1 for Carson Wentz. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think that's that bad. Number one is we get rid of Carson Wentz. He's out of the building now. We can move on. This rebuild is official now. We are in an official rebuild mode. We do have to take that cap hit of $34 million next year. But after that, after next year, after that $34 million, he's off the books completely. His contract is gone. We don't have to worry about that $107 million anymore. He is off the books. So I don't expect us to go to the Super Bowl next year. So, yeah, I mean, this is a rebuilding year. If any year is going to be a rebuilding year, this is probably going to be it. So I'm not too upset that we have to take that hit, the largest dead cap money hit in the history of football. We have to take that next year. But our salary cap is screwed up anyway. So it's going to take us a year to get back in sync or on even ground, and we'll have next year to do that. So you guys, thanks for joining us. I'm here with my co-host Pat and Michelle. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel? Should I start the quarter or should? Let's start the quarter. Let's start the quarter. All right. So you're watching Eagles Talk. A lot of people in the room, man. We thank you guys for showing up and supporting the show. As Pat gets ready to pour his drink, let me just bring you guys into the conversation. Thank you guys for joining us. The first person in the room tonight was Frank. And Frank says, good day. What's up, Frank? Good day. Tony Burns, so what's new? So what's new, Tony? Have you been living under a rock, Tony? What do you mean, what is new? I'm only kidding. Marcus D says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Mark? Miles Smith is in the building also. What's up, Miles? And Drexel Davis did. My boy, Jeremy T. JT is here. He said, oh, boy. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that. And there's Jermaine Patton. So, anyway. You're watching Eagles Talk. We like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So everybody, get your shots. Let me know what you're drinking out there tonight, because I think this is a moment of celebration. We can turn the page on the Carson Wentz era, and we can move on and from all the. I mean, it's still a shit show. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of shit show going on, but we got one part of this shit show settled, and that is Carson Wentz is out of the building, and we can move on with our lives. Now, I am going to do the Ciroc Apple, if I can get the bottle open. Jeez, it's hard. All right, there it is. All right, I'm going to do the Ciroc Apple. My partner is doing, what are you doing? Jameson?
I'm doing it. I got to do the whiskey.
All right, so he's doing the Jameson, and Michelle is doing the wine. Okay, so here we are. Everybody join us. Let me know what you're drinking out there. So here we go. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1. Woo. All right, so now let me ask you guys, what was your feeling when you heard the news break? Well, I'll ask you, Pat, what was your feeling when the news broke?
Well, it was something that we were expecting. We didn't know when it was going to drop. The compensation wasn't what everybody expected it to be, but it was something that we already knew was going to happen. We knew he's going to go to the Colts. We already said it before, like he's ready to go to the Colts. You're ready to get him out of here to the Colts. I understand that I told you guys last week and a week prior that I am a Wentz fan. I'm a Carson Wentz fan. I'm on the record saying that I'm a big Carson Wentz fan. I hope he does rebound. Um, but with that being said, once you leave this midnight green, I mean, I can't root for you no more. So I wasn't too shocked that it happened today. I was just ready for this saga to be over. I kept talking about it since the end of the season. Just get it done with, get it over with, and let's move forward so we can start getting this team prepared for the 2021 season.
And what was your thoughts, Michelle, and upon hearing the news that our once franchise quarterback has been moved finally after a year of turmoil and his worst year of his career?
I was just glad the saga was over. I mean, this was the most long, drawn out process of trading him to the place where we knew it was going to happen. They could have did this a long time ago. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And let me just say, it looks like we got a troll or two in the comments. What we're not going to do is wish torn ACLs and injuries on any of these players, Wentz, Hurts, or anybody. That's trifling, by the way.
No,
That's real
no.
trifling. We want everybody to succeed in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Wentz couldn't succeed here, so it is what it is. We finally moved on, but they dragged it out. So of course they weren't going to get the deal that they wanted for him, because it was such a public dysfunction of this team. The fan base, not just in Philadelphia, but the Eagles fans around the country are still calling for Howie's head because it was such an implosion. We have bigger issues than just the fact that our once quote unquote star QB, what we take him number two. What
Hmm.
was he when he was
Number
drafted?
two. Yeah.
Number two is no longer here. So we have to it's time for us to kind of move on. Obviously they had moved on, like I said, when Hertz was already out there doing the press runs. They were doing the press runs. The press is reporting he's working out with the quarterbacks. I mean, they had left the building a long time ago. You know what I mean? They had left the building a long time ago. And no, Dennis, it's not life. You're being trifling. You don't wish somebody to be hurt. You don't wish somebody break both their ankles and go somewhere. You're being trifling.
Yeah,
All
he's
right.
Yeah.
almost on the cusp of getting deleted.
Yeah.
All right.
But
He's about to
in
get
all
bounced out of here.
in all seriousness, when you look at this whole thing as a whole, and you break it down for what we were able to get from the Colts, to be able to get anything from the 34th ranked quarterback, this year, I understand that when Carson is healthy and he has the offensive line, he could do magical things. But when you're able to, when you're not able to do and put up the season that he did this year, and you're able to get a third round, an additional second round that can turn into a first round. I mean, just go back and look at the Jared Goff deal. Like Jared Goff, the freaking Rams had to give up 2 first round draft picks and a third round draft pick just to get rid of Jared Goff. Just to get rid of Jared Goff. So I mean, I understand that some people are saying we lost this trade, but to be able to get something back, I mean that speaks volumes. Even though we probably going to mess it up with how we choosing those picks anyway.
For sure.
Well, one thing's for certain, right? With that Super Bowl, the Super Bowl era is over. It's officially over, right? All right, so
Mm.
we don't have that
It's
team
been over.
anymore. It's been over, right? So this is like this to me is turning the page on that team and that era. It's just 3-4 years later, and we're doing that. But it has to be done because this is the coach is gone that won us the Super Bowl. The staff is gone. I mean, and now the franchise quarterback is gone. The MVP, Super Bowl MVP, has been gone. So we're officially turning the page on that Super Bowl team. There, we thank them so much and such. But we're in a rebuild now, we're starting fresh now by turning the page on Carson Wentz. I think we got back fair value. Fair value. I have to admit, fair value after the shenanigans that went on with the negotiations, Chicago being involved, Wentz just erasing our leverage by saying that he wants to go to the Colts. Well, that's what they're rumored to saying that his people told people that he wants to go to the Colts, and that just erased all leverage that we had in that situation there. So to get a 1 and a 3 if that's what it turns out to be, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to wish him an ACL, but he is one person that I will not be rooting for after this.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Some guys like Andy Reid in this past Super Bowl, I wouldn't have been upset if Andy Reid would have won the Super Bowl. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of rooted for him, so to
Mhm.
speak, because he was a former Eagle. But I'm sorry, but Carson Wentz is not going to be that one unless I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the years may change my mind or something like that. But nah. All right,
I
I'm I'm
agree.
I'm
Yeah,
cool.
I do
I'm
agree.
I
cool on him.
agree. A lot of people were hurt by the fact that he didn't even talk to the fans, not the people, his naysayers. He didn't talk to the fans. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? He did not. He didn't even put out a statement to his fans that were pulling for him, rooting for him, and that's just disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just ungrateful. There were a lot of people still believing in him. We all believed he still had a shot to take this team and get this team somewhere if he just had his head in the game. But he let folks down by being silent and positioning himself in his own little bubble and not having that camaraderie with the team. Like he just let a lot of folks down with that. And do you really want a player that goes silent on the fans? That's not how we do in Philly. Not
Yeah,
only did he
yeah.
go silent, you know what I mean? He went silent. He didn't even say, "Oh, hey, bye, boo. Nice knowing y'all." Nothing. Nothing. And then but publicly put it out there that you want to leave. It's just that the handling of it was just very immature and mismanaged on all camps side, whether it was Eagles, Howie, Jeffrey, Wentz. Like it was just a hot mess. And right now we look a little crazy. We're out there with our ass hanging out right now.
We have no direction.
Mm-mm.
You're 100% right. We have no direction. They're saying now that the job doesn't automatically go to Jalen Hurts. There will be a quarterback competition, and you know what? If we have a quarterback competition, then you know what that means. We're a quarterback factory, and I don't know where this crap comes from that we're a quarterback factory, but that means most likely we're going to draft the quarterback, and this is a terrible strategy right now. We need so many other pieces to put around a quarterback that it makes no sense to go ahead and right now to draft a quarterback. I mean, I could see the value if a Trevor Lawrence falls to us. Yes, all right, draft him. Even if that kid from BYU falls, draft him. Justin Fields, do not draft Justin Fields.
Mm.
Ohio State quarterbacks have not been successful in this league. Do not draft another North Dakota State quarterback in Trey Lance, even though he didn't throw any interceptions previous year. We need to get the best player on the board. If that's not the receiver, Jamar Chase, which I think they might go, or a cornerback, Patrick Surtain, or J.C. Horn from South Carolina. They got to go linebacker, I believe. I mean, you have to make sure you have guys that can make plays on this team.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I want to get back to the fact that we have gotten this weight off our back. We've gotten that $100 million contract off our back. We're going to have to take a dead cap hit of $34 million next year. But after next year, we're free of that. And then probably with some other moves that's going to be done this off season here, we'll be back in line to be able to jump into the free agency world more next year,
Mm-hmm.
and start building. We had to strip it down. We had to strip it down. There's some more stripping that has to go along with this. Carson Wentz is not the only face that's not going to be on this team from last year. There's going to be some veterans that you're probably not going to see on this team come the beginning of next year, and some beloved names. I mean, we may not see we may not see Kelsey because he might retire. We might not see Brandon Graham because he may be one of those casualties that we have to move on from. Since we are in a rebuild, he's a little older. Malik Jackson probably not coming back. We know Alshon Jeffrey's probably not coming back. We got a lot of older people that are not probably going to be here next year. So everybody get ready for a new look Eagles, not only with the coaching staff, but with the players. And
Uh-huh.
this draft, like you guys have said, this draft is going to be very important. It is going to be very important. Well, that's the end of the first quarter. So let's do that.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're watching and listening to Eagles Talk. by Eagles fans for Eagles fans, and we're discussing the blockbuster trade today. Carson Wentz has been moved to Indianapolis. He'll be reunited with Frank Reich. Mike Groh is there, and Press Taylor is there.
Yeah, how about that?
Let's talk about the possibility. Well, let's just do these shots first. But so we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we like to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I am doing the apple Ciroc. My partner is doing the Jameson, and Michelle is doing red wine. So you let me know what you're doing out there.
Wine.
Let me know what you're doing out there. I saw someone out there is doing the 1738. I like that. 1738 is pretty good. Is that a cognac? Is that a cognac?
Is
Yeah.
Jersey? Oh, that's you. No, I got a
Yeah.
Jersey red.
Oh no, I'm
No, the
talking about somebody.
1738. I believe it's in cognac. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like cognac. All right, anyway, here we go. I'm not a Henny guy. I'm not a cognac guy. All right, here we go. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're
Now, let's
now
talk about-
listening to the second quarter.
Let's talk
yak.
about the possibility or the probability or what's in the future for Carson Wentz. Do you guys think he goes there and he recaptures his 2017 form or what? Or do you care or what? What do you guys think? Because there's some people in the chat room that are like, oh, it's going to be the biggest mistake. He's going to win a Super Bowl with them or whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
Nah.
Yeah, no,
nah.
I don't
Listen,
think we need to worry about that.
yeah. Unless you play 75% of the games, 75% of the games I will root for him. We don't see the Colts unless we both meet up in the Super Bowl until 2025. All right, so we won't see them actually against the Eagles. So with that being said, as long as he wins 75% of the game, I can root for the Colts over there and say yes. After that 75% of the game, I can stop rooting for him. But besides that, I mean, you're not. I always say this, like Nick Foles. You ever come in town, he doesn't have to buy a drink. Same thing with Doug Peterson. Same thing with Frank White. Even though they're with different teams and stuff of that nature,
Very true.
you come back in town, you gave this fan base something that we never had. Besides the NFL championship before the Super Bowl.
Who you buying a drink?
Everybody but Wentz. That's what
I'm
I'm
about to
saying.
say I'm not buying Wentz a drink.
Yeah,
Wentz is
ev-
that he
it's
gets
just-
no
it's
it's just-
drink
drink.
from.
It's just the way he
I'll buy
departed,
Winston's
you know.
drink.
And I don't even know why we're going to spend so much time talking about what's he going to do after.
Yeah, I don't
he
really
gets
care.
somewhere
He's,
else.
he's
Just get us those draft
75%.
picks. Yeah,
Just give
get
me
us those draft picks.
75%, and after that, you can kick rocks.
All right, so that's our investment in Wentz now is that's the extent of it. We're
It's our
only
draft
rooting
pick.
for him
Draft picks.
to meet the incentive so we can get the draft pick. So
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
we'll
about
be rooting
13
for him.
games,
So,
I think.
so I guess
12
I have to
games?
change already. So I guess I will be rooting for him just to play 75% of the games and 70% if they make the playoffs. But I'll be rooting for that, yes. But that'll be the extent of it. I won't be rooting for him beyond that. I don't know. I think I thought that he had the possibility to be fixed. Now that some things have been revealed, it's going to be up to him. It's going to be up to him, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if Frank Wright is a great. It's great for him to be reunited with Frank Wright, but I don't know if he's that in the face coach that's going to get him to change. If you got Press Taylor there, his buddy, that had no
His
you
best
know,
friend.
his
His best friend.
I'm saying like that his best friend, and this was the problem, man. This is the monster we created when he was here, and part of that was Press Taylor and Doug Peterson and them not being tough on him, as tough as they should have been on him, and allowing him to get away with murder. They created this monster that Wentz is today. And I don't know if Press Taylor and Mike Groh is going to be the ones that's going to shake him up or get him to listen to them. Frank Wright's a different story, but now had he gone to Chicago with John DeFilippo, I would think that I would have more confidence that he will return to that form. But Wentz is a wuss to me. I'm sorry, he's not a Philly guy. He's a
Not a
wuss.
Philly guy.
He
You're right.
didn't have the mental fortitude. He acted like a child throughout this whole thing. This whole thing. I mean, how classless was it for him not to even comment when his coach got fired? the only coach you knew, the coach that brought you into this league, that had your back, and we're learning that he got fired for standing by Wentz. We
Hmm.
thought he was standing for, he wanted Hurts to start, but we're
Right.
finding out that he wanted Wentz to start, and the
Yeah.
front office was like, oh no, that's the wrong answer. You got to go.
Yeah.
So,
He flamed a lot of people's careers in this whole process. So,
Yeah, yeah.
he the whole for how many, the past season and a half, 2 seasons, the focus was on so many other people. Alshon Jeffrey, come to find out Wentz didn't have the locker room. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? It wasn't the locker room. It was Wentz. We thought Doug and Wentz didn't have a relationship. Doug was actually sticking up for Wentz, and look what happened. He lost his job. So when people always make these statements about being a quote unquote cancer in the locker room, it probably never dawned on them that sometimes that could actually be the quarterback
Mm,
because they
yes.
always
mm,
get a pass. Somebody else
mm.
always takes the blame for not being the positive person in the locker room. And
Yeah.
it's just coming out more and more that that's where a lot of the problems focused on, because he could not work through adversity. And that's a testament to how mentally tough he was, that he couldn't even work through a little bit of adversity for one season, and he just straight imploded. So I like to just move on from him and talk about what we gonna do on O line, what we gonna do with these D
Yeah.
backs, what
What
we
we gonna
gonna
do
do
with
with the running
JJ
backs.
Ortega Whiteside? Oh,
Right?
we
Oh,
gonna
we're
Yeah.
keep
going to
him.
cut his ass,
Are we going to
please.
keep this JJ and get another JJ? What are we going to do? Like I totally believe that his locker room chemistry with the guys was not there. Like you just said on the show. Like sometimes people just rub you the wrong way. They don't have to say words, just their actions. And I
Mhm.
believe that's he hung out with his guy. He hung out with Zach Ertz. He sometimes hung out with Fletcher Cox. They like to hunt. Fletcher Cox doesn't even watch football when he's away from football. Uh, we hung out with Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey's on the his Chris Long show, drinking 40s. Like, come on, these guys aren't the guys you have to win over. You have to win over, the rest of the young guys that's coming into this locker room, and you're not winning these guys over. And I hate to say it, thank you for getting us to the point where we had to bring in the closer. I know it was a traumatic injury, but at the same time, you got us there to where we could just needed to win 2 games, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thanks for
And
home field. Thanks for home field,
thanks for
bro.
home field, because without home field, I don't think we win those two playoff games. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
So I appreciate y'all for what y'all did in 2017. 2017 is over. It's
Yeah.
2021. It's
Yep.
time to move on. Move on from the coaching staff, the whole coaching staff, and a second defensive backs coach. We ain't going to talk about that. Then we move on from the quarterback. It's time to focus on this team going forward. As Philadelphia Eagles fans, we got free agency. Then we have the draft. The blame, all that stuff is done. It's over with. Let's move forward.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
For sure.
all right. Let me go to some comments here. There's a lot of talk going on. Glenn DeLee says, definitely doesn't have Philly heart. Sue's out there. What's up, Sue? Not a locker room guy. Crazy
Well,
Legs
that's cute.
uses some colorful language. And Bernard says, Wentz got paid, Eagles got played, point blank.
We got a
John
ring though.
Batiste
We got a
says,
ring
where
out of it.
yeah, we did. We did get a ring, and that was worth it. John Batiste, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Yinder says maybe he called him personally. I don't believe nothing the media say. They change their story every 2 days.
That's true.
Jeremiah says, so who do you think we need to go after to fill our void? Well, I think we're going to ride with Hurts right now. I don't. I mean, anything could be done in the draft. I'm hearing whispers that maybe they package another pick and move up to get a quarterback. I don't think that they need to do that just yet.
No,
I
I
think
think
they
we need
need
to
to
worry
give
about the
Hurts a
D
chance.
backs. Yeah.
Yeah, give Hurts a chance, and if in fact he does not prove to be the quarterback we need, we'll have 2 first-round picks to move up and get a quarterback next year,
That's true.
if
There's some
that's the
good
case.
quarterbacks next year. There's some good quarterbacks going to be in the draft next year. I mean, compared to this draft, they're going to be very comparable to these guys that's coming out this year. But with that being said, if we're not getting Trevor Lawrence, if we're not moving up to get Trevor Lawrence, then we need to focus on either a playmaker or defense. All
I
right. If
agree.
I looked at the tape, I went back and I looked at Devontae Smith. Again, I like him, but I looked at Jamar Chase from 2019, and there's something about him running after the catch. AJ Brown, he showed what he could do when he went from for Ole Miss to Tennessee. He's an after the catch guy, and AJ Brown is the comp I have for Jamar Smith. And I mean, if you can't get this guy, I say go defense. Patrick Surtain, Mika Parsons, even J.C. Horn, one of these defensive backs. If you can't get them in the first round, you got Derek Stingley from LSU in the second round you can pick up. So we really gotta
I
if
like you
he's going to be
coming over
quarterback.
to my side, Pat. You've been coming over to my side week
This
by
this
week
is
by week.
I'm a defensive guy, but I love offense. I'm a defensive guy, and this seeing the possibilities of if these guys are gone, this build this defense up, make this defense like the Bears, make this defense like the Ravens when Ray Lewis was in his prime. Make sure that the offense only has to put up 10 points, and the defense can shut the offense down. Like we haven't had that since the '90s. So
Mm.
I mean. I ain't come over to that side a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think we do. And some people are commenting about JJY. I wouldn't mind giving him a year to help us supercharge for a little bit, giving the young kids something to look up to as we bring some young guys into our defensive fold.
I
Why
don't
not?
think. I think J.J. Watt was probably going to look for a situation where he can
He's going
probably
to the
earn a ring.
Steelers with his brother.
Yeah,
You can imagine that
where
defense?
they're in position to
Ooh.
win a ring. We're in no position. We're
Yeah.
not even close to that. So I don't even think it's realistic to even think about trying to bring him in here. But Glenn D. Lee said, "Can y'all speak on Howie's mismanagement of the organization? That is the real problem, and we'll do that. And I'll let
Every week
Nichelle
we
go
speak
first on
on
that.
that.
But we have to start the third quarter.
I mean,
So Pat,
And
why don't you?
that's the end of the quarter. You're now listening to the third quarter.
Third quarter of Eagles Talk by Eagles fans for Eagles fans, where we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we like to do it as we enjoy libations. So tonight's libations I am doing is Ciroc Apple, and my partner is doing the Jameson Irish whiskey, and Nichelle is doing a red wine. What red wine is that? What is that? A red
This is
blend or
Jersey Red. No, it's
Jersey
Jersey
red?
Red. Yeah, it's just called Jersey Red. It is a red
okay.
wine blend, though.
Okay, red wine
Yeah.
blend. I like red wine
Red,
blends.
red wine. That's
All
all I
right,
can
so
think
here
of
we
every
go.
time.
Let me know what you're drinking.
JerseyWine.com.
Let me know what you're drinking out there. Everybody, join us down the hatch. 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's talk about it. Talk
Howie.
about Howie. Can you
I mean,
speak to the mismanagement of
we're
the
kind
organization?
of beating a dead horse. We've been saying this for what, 2, 3 seasons that Howie's been mismanaging things. I mean, we know that's the case, but it's not just all on Howie. Howie's not doing anything without Lori's blessing.
Yeah,
They really need to turn
Didn't I say
over.
that last week?
Yeah,
Did I say
yeah,
that last week?
exactly.
You
We
come
need
to
to.
my side now.
We really need to turn over, Howie and Jeffrey Lurie really needs the coaching staff, the talent scouts. They need to have more autonomy in our draft picks, more
Hmm.
autonomy in who we are getting off of free agency, who we are trading. They need to have more of a say when it comes to the talent, because it clearly shows that this Howie Laurie decision making process has not worked for us. Look where we are right now. We're a hot mess. We are a hot
yeah,
mess of a team, and it's all because Howie and Lori have not given up the reins to the actual experts, the coaches. Yes, they know how to sign checks and maybe look at talent, but your expertise is not on evaluating talent. Your expertise is signing deals and evaluating contracts. So Howie and Lori need to stay in their lane, and they need to let the coaches and the talent scouts do the talent evaluations, make sure we're filling holes like D backs, a shutdown corner, or a breakout receiver, getting some youth at our O line position so we can keep a O line, or so we can have some people coming off the bench on O line. That's what needs to happen at this point. And Lori and Howie need to fall back on this personnel piece. They really do.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said before, something was wrong with Jeffrey Lurie hiring these GMs who have all this control or what was say about a football team. Like when you're not the guy on the actual field making these calls, you shouldn't be the guy in a draft room picking these players. I always thought that the coaches should be there with the guys who's going to going to see these kids. That they should be the ones making the pitch, not the GM. GM, go ahead, do your calculations, get these contracts right. Let the football guys do the football things. I mean, just I could go back to the 2019 draft. I don't have to go too far. We can go back to the 2020 draft. All right, we had opportunities to pick certain players. I'm not going to say their names, but we got some people that's not even on this team. Our 2019 draft was a total disaster. Like we got one starter from that team, and the other guy we looking to get rid of, Andre Dillard. So I mean, let's be honest right here, right? The problem we always put on the quarterback and the head coach, but when you don't give these guys weapons, you don't give these guys weapons. It even goes back to the time when we had Terrell Owens. Before we had Terrell Owens, we didn't have any other playmakers, right? That whole time, the saga with Terrell Owens, we got rid of him. We still didn't have any playmakers until we were able to get Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin. Like you're waiting too long in the careers of these quarterbacks that we have, or this offensive lineman that we have, and it's too late. It's always like it's always like the Friday parody. You always got peanut butter, no jelly. You always got cereal, no milk. You always got Kool-Aid, no sugar.
No
Like
sugar.
it's mind-boggling that this happens every single year, man. Whew.
Well, with that being said,
Calm down.
you know
Calm down.
calm down a little bit.
I'm
With
good.
that
I'm
being
good.
said,
I'm
this
good. I'm good.
it's going to be a while before they come to the realization that they maybe need to try a different approach, because this approach that they're trying, let's think about it, it has won them a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl 3 years ago with this approach, with
Yes.
this philosophy, with this mindset. This is what won us our first Super Bowl. So until this just implodes completely, I think that this is a formula that they're going to follow again, as we see with Sirianni. I mean, we don't. The jury's still out on him. He's just been hired, but for all intents and purposes, we think that him coming in, we think he's more of a yes guy than he is a strong personality type.
Hmm.
So they're following the same formula that they followed when they hired Doug Peterson, and they're going to see if it works again. The only difference is I don't think Doug Peterson was a guy that had a interest in putting together a coaching staff. So I think that's why they may have been a little bit more proactive in helping him pick his staff. But they allowed Sirianni to pick his staff.
They
So maybe
did.
They
Sirianni
did.
had he had a
Has to
plan,
say.
and he had a vision on who he wanted to be on his staff. So
Yeah.
they gave him that. But for all, like I said, for all intents and purposes, I think they're going to use that same philosophy that they used with Doug Peterson, and picking that coach that they know they can have a little control over, one that's not a threat to sending Howie to the back corner office again, like Chip Kelly was, because I think that's definitely on Howie's mind when they look during this coaching search. He's making sure that he doesn't have a stronger personality than his, that wants to usurp his authority again, like that was done when Chip Kelly was here. He's guarding his territory, so to speak. And we can't say that that's not a success. I mean, we can say, because we see the shit show that's going on, but it's not going to. They're not going to see it until it blows up again. They have a Super Bowl under their belt. They have a Super Bowl under their belt. That's all I can say.
You
and
can't
and
tell
they
me
you
nothing.
can't tell me nothing. Like my 82-year-old dad says, you make it to 82 years old. I already made it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, you know
this
what
is
I'm saying?
true.
You win a Super Bowl, I've already won one, and I did it this way. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some more of that until it just implodes fully.
Yeah, I want to
Implodes
answer this
fully.
one question. I want to answer this one question.
Go
You
ahead.
you'd already put this up there. Reggie Brown was tough. He was tough, man. He would have been a great second receiver, like a slot receiver. His second year in the league, I had to go look it up because I remember Reggie Brown was pretty decent. He had 816 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. That's number two receiver. All you had to do is add a number one receiver. That's all you had to do is add a number one receiver the next year.
Hmm.
The problem is, like I said, you have the peanut butter, no jelly. You have the Kool-Aid, no sugar. Like it's always something missing. You add one piece and you forget about the other piece. We got Darius Slay, then you get rid of Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones. you
Yeah.
know,
And
you
now
got
people are
you,
talking about trade Slay. I'm like, why? We've
why?
already decimated at the D back position. Why would we get rid of our DB? I think it's just blasphemy. Some of the comments that came up, not here, but just in general, as they're talking about the Eagles after Wentz got traded and all of the other nonsense. But I'm actually kind of
Wow.
wondering if we talk about Sirianni being a yes man, and I've watched some of the film of him coaching. He seems a lot more fiery than Doug Peterson is. And since
Hmm.
they actually gave him autonomy to actually pick his coaching staff, he may be young, a little wet behind the ears, but who's to say, he isn't that naive that he's just going to let them roll over him. Obviously, he made a deal that he had to pick his coaching staff and they let him. So maybe he's playing his cards right. He may be a little unseasoned at the mic when it comes to press
Yeah,
conferences,
he's
but
terrible. Not
yeah,
unseasoned. He's terrible. We could
yeah,
do better than he can.
yeah. I'm sure, but who's to
No,
say when
after
it
four
comes to
shots.
having those
After four
back?
shots,
Yeah.
we could do better than he can. All right.
But who's to say after, in these backdoor conversations, he's not asserting himself? Because he doesn't seem like the type of dude in when you watch him coach
Hmm.
that doesn't assert himself. I'm not saying I'm not just going to the jury's still out if he's going
Yeah,
to be a yes man because they already let him pick his own coaching staff and that clearly is they're all his boys. They're his people.
they his
Period.
people. And you know
You
what?
know what I
He
mean?
he
And
picked,
he might
he
take
went the
that
smart
same
route.
approach. Yeah, he might take that same approach, on draft and making sure he's picking people and his coaches all have a say. And you have to go back to think he picked a quarterback coach that had already worked with Hertz. So we
Hmm.
Yeah,
kind of knew who was going to get the shot to, run point guard for this team from the rip
I
once
like
those
that.
coaches came. You know
I
what I
like
mean?
that.
We should have figured that out when they picked this dude that coached Jalen. They're
But
going to
you,
at least give him the season. They're going to at least
yeah,
give him the season to prove himself.
I concur. You know what? He did pick some very good staff. And I did some more digging into their defensive guy, Glennon. He was a very hot commodity behind the scenes.
Mhm.
He was somebody that a lot of teams were actually looking at him to be defensive coordinators or a head coach because of his philosophy. So for in Brian Johnson, this to get Brian Johnson, who has done wonders with some of these guys, that makes me think that maybe in the later rounds, maybe in the second round or third round, they might pass from Florida.
Mhm.
All right, let me
Let
don't
me end
end
the
the
quarter real
corner
quick.
just yet. Don't end the quarter
Oh,
yet.
gotcha.
Let me get some comments before we do that.
I like Glenn's comment.
Tyree says we as fans need to support these people at least for this year. Yes, the coaching
Yeah,
staff
Yes, yes,
definitely
definitely.
gets
absolutely. We
get
got it.
a year.
Yeah.
Some may only give them a couple of weeks, but I'm going to give them a year. I'm giving them a whole year.
Hmm.
uh,
I like this comment from Glenn D. Lee.
Me too. Me too.
It said is Hurts. I'll put it up for you. Is Hurts, T. Taylor or Russell Wilson? Now, don't get me wrong. Taylor, he's a guy that got stuck with the needle and with the Chargers, and he couldn't play. And Justin Herbert got in the game. Well, that was a bunch of hogwash. But Tyrod is actually a pretty decent quarterback. He's been a pretty decent starter. But he's nothing like Russell Wilson.
I
So
watched I watched Tyrod at a Elite 11 camp at Penn State when my oldest
yeah,
went. Yep.
wow.
Yep.
mm,
So I've seen him play for a mighty long time.
All right.
Elite 11.
Bill
Wow.
Bill Crow says I'm convinced they will trade back in the draft. It just dawned on me they will screw this up. It just dawned on you. It just dawned on you and
Positive
Howie.
energy, Bill. Positive energy. Come on. We got to
How
hold
Watt
about
on
how
could
to
be
about
the new
that.
long. Yes, he could, but
I was thinking of that.
it's going to
I
take
was
a
thinking
while for the
Oh
rest of the team to catch
yeah,
up to
I
play
missed
to
that
his level.
song.
We're not in. This is a bad team. You got to remember, this is a four. Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's not. Mind f ourselves. Not let's not mind f ourselves here. This was a bad team last year. There's a
We
reason
suck.
why they were 4-12 or 4-11 or
We
whatever
suck.
they were. There's a
We
reason
do.
why this team was not good. Now we do have some offensive linemen coming back that should hopefully, um, help Hurts out a lot, with them returning to health. If Brandon Brooks comes back to full health, Lane Johnson comes back to full health, Kelsey doesn't retire. Malata is the
I would
left
like that
tackle.
O line. Yeah.
That O line is not that bad, so we
Mm-mm.
have something to build on there.
I
But
even have that feeling.
we don't have a lot of
Mhm.
talent on this team.
I think I even have that feeling if Kelsey did retire, that you can move Isaac to the center and put Nate Herberg in that left guard. He played pretty doggone good when he was healthy at guard. Jake Jack Driscoll was a great swing offensive lineman. For the times that he was healthy, the
Yeah,
rookie
I
from
agree.
Auburn, he played very admirably. So I think if he can be if these guys can stay healthy, we have a decent offensive line for this year. Maybe next year we had to get some guys, but for this year coming, we might have some good guys.
Mhm.
I said, Anthony Yates, where you been at, Anthony? The players are going to hate Howie for firing Doug because the players now can't get ice cream.
He don't know,
All
Dante.
right.
You hated them ice cream parties. He thought they were soft.
Oh, that was soft. That was some soft stuff. All right, now let's end the quarter. We get in the quarter now.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, so you're watching the Eagles Talk, man. The number one Eagles coverage show on Facebook by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. We're talking about the Carson Wentz who has moved on. We're turning the page on his era and on the era of the Super Bowl team because it's 3-4 years and we are in a full rebuild. We're going to go with the young guy so far. I mean, as of today, we're going to go with the young guy Hurts. We'll see if that remains true because I heard a report here that there's going to be quarterback competition. So that means to me either they're going to bring in someone they're going to have compete for a starting role, or they're going to draft a quarterback that's going to be in competition for the starting role. So how do you guys feel about that? Or what? Before we do that, let's do the shot for the fourth quarter. So, all right, we like to talk about Philadelphia Eagles, and we like to talk about them in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of libations. I am doing the Ciroc Apple. Pat is doing the Jameson Irish Whiskey, and Michelle is doing a red wine blend. So let me know what you're doing, and then we'll talk about this in the fourth quarter. So everyone, down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
Okay, all right, fourth quarter. Excuse me.
I gotta say
So, what do
this.
you guys think? There's a report. There's going to be competition at the quarterback position
Yes,
going into next season.
yes.
So, what's that? I mean, they cannot possibly be talking about Nate Sutfield is going to be in a serious competition with
If Nate
Hurts
Sutfield
for
is back
for
here, I
starting.
would take myself down Southfield and audition my doggone self. All right.
All right, so they can't possibly be talking about Nate Sutfield, right? So they're either talking about bringing in a name, a veteran quarterback, possibly, and having him compete with Hurts, or they're considering drafting one of these quarterbacks. What do you think?
No, no draft. No, why are we putting that energy out in the universe? We need
It-
D-backs and O-line folks and some receivers. So let's not put quarterback and draft in the same sentence.
So
Those are
what
the
do you
three
think they
positions
mean?
I
What do
want.
you think they mean when they
I
said
think they're
they're
going
going
to
to
try
be?
and pick up a quarterback either in, a trade, free agency, something other than the draft, unless there's somebody that's going to be available in super late rounds. But I don't. I don't envision them. They obviously have somebody in mind, but I don't think it's through the draft. And maybe I'm just being more hopeful that it's not through the draft. They
Yeah.
really need to, what good is a quarterback if you ain't got an O line? Like, come on, come
Well,
on. We
Trask might be available in the second or third round, and his quarterback coach is who? Brian Johnson.
Well,
But
that
with that
that's
being said,
fine. If he's there in the third round, get him. But
uh,
we need to use our first and second round picks for the biggest holes because it doesn't like the quarterback is not the priority
and I'm
when
gonna
it
say
comes
this.
to
I'm gonna be
drafts.
honest with you.
If
How
he has
much
no
I love
weapons
the
or O
tight end.
line, it doesn't matter.
How much as I like the tight end from Florida, Kyle Pitts, he
Mm,
actually physically reminds me his play style, the way he bullies and all this stuff, and go up for the ball and get separation reminds the guy that we have on the team already, Hakeem Butler. Hakeem Butler is the same player in Iowa State, but faster. All right, that's the same guy. So you get a guy that's 240 pounds that cannot block these defensive ends. Let's be honest. When tight ends come into the league, they cannot block. These first round draft pick tight ends have not been as successful as these second and third, fourth round tight ends. George Kittle was selected in the third round. Travis Kelsey, I believe, was selected in the second round. These are the best tight ends in the NFL. Even Ertz was selected in the second round. So let's not get ahead of ourselves and drafting a tight end at number 6. We're not doing that.
no.
If you
Yeah,
do that, you
absolutely
set
not.
yourself up for failure. All right, let me
No.
go do some free agent quarterbacks for you guys to hear these names, because these might be some guys that might be coming in the camp. First one is Dak Prescott. For some reason, the Cowboys don't want to sign him. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Be a great backup.
Jacoby Brissett, Mitchell Trubisky, Ryan Fitzpatrick,
No.
who may retire, Andy
No
Dalton,
Mitchell.
Tyrod Taylor, Colt McCoy, heck no, Robert Griffin III. I'm not going to do the
No,
former Eagles. Cam Newton, Joe Flacco, Ryan Griffin, Matt Glennon, Geno Smith, and the rest. Jameis Wilson, Winston. But
I would
this
take
is
Tyrod out of all of them. You think
maybe
Cam would go anywhere and be a backup? I can't even see his ego dealing with that.
the
No,
way
I
he played
can't. I
last
can't
year,
see him coming here.
the
That would
way
be
he
to
played
me.
last year, the way he played last year, he's a backup.
I know,
Yeah.
but do you think he would go somewhere where he was a backup?
No,
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
he would
so.
go there. But I think he's too big of a personality for them to
Mhm.
bring in the building right now. When
Yeah.
if you're
I
going to
like I
stand
like the
behind
idea of
Hurts,
Tyrod Taylor coming in
yeah, Tyrod
and
Taylor is not going to be
letting
too
them
much of a
two
threat.
duke it out. But yeah, again, we
I
got to get
like
our
that.
we
Kyle
got to get
O'Brien's
our
on your side, Nichelle.
That's
Kyle
right.
O'Brien's on your side.
Because it doesn't matter if we don't get a O line and some weapons. Come on.
hmm
Cam is
But
a
you know
We
what?
backup
already
at this
his
point.
name is Jalen Hurts. Oh, stop.
If there's going to be a competition, why not Cam? No, because Cam's personality is too big. If you bring Cam in,
Yeah.
there's going to be a instant quarterback controversy. I don't know if that's what you want to do with this
Philly
young
is
guy.
not beat
Although I think
Cam and
he,
his shenanigans. Because come on, we clown him every
yeah,
season.
they would eat his ass
Come
up too
on,
with
come
them
on. Philly
outfits and
is
stuff
not
like that.
beat for
He
Cam and
can't
his
No,
dress like
shenanigans.
that.
nah, not that, not down in South Philly. No.
No, 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 no.
And it might
So
have fans
anyway,
next year. No, that's not gonna be a
no,
good stop, my
I
friend.
don't think Cam is a good fit here.
Yeah,
Maybe
Ma-
somewhere else.
Marcus, they said Marcus Mariota. He's still on a contract with the Raiders, so he's not going anywhere.
he's not.
Um, he,
Yeah, he's
he
not
still
going
have a
anywhere.
year over there with the Raiders, so he's not going anywhere because they might trade Derek Carr. So,
We don't
Dante,
need a big name
Michelle,
backup. I just think
we
that's a
don't,
bad
we
idea. And I'm
don't.
not saying that Tyra. I just think he could manage a game or two if Hertz was out. But unless we're bringing somebody to start over Hertz, and that's not going to happen this season. They don't have this young man out there working out with these receivers for nothing or doing the
Well, you
press
know what?
runs for nothing.
I'm gonna give you two names. You're right. I'm gonna give you two names. I'm
Come
gonna give
on.
you two names, and they're college guys that's coming out this year. Mark Jacobs, the quarterback from Bama, and Kyle Trask, the quarterback from Florida. I said
Hmm.
Trask like his name is 3 times.
Yeah,
Right?
Trask. Yeah.
These I don't know if his last name is Mark Jacobs, but Mark from Alabama, the quarterback from Alabama.
13.
Um,
That's right. That's right. Crazy
these
legs.
these two quarterbacks may be available in the third round. You have two third round picks now. So you might pick one of these guys up since it's a quarterback factory. Nobody believes that here. Patrick Surtain, I love his style. I went back over his
I'm
tape.
with you. I'm with you, crazy legs.
I
That's
looked
that's
over his
that's what
tape
I
and I'm
watch.
like, I'm looking at this guy, even though he doesn't get, he doesn't get tested. And I said that before. I like corners that get tested. I like to see what they can do against, these number one receivers, even though sometimes these number one receivers might beat them. There's a reason why they might beat them because they're number one receivers for a reason. But I did see this guy and I kept looking at him like, you know what, in the shell, I'm have him and Darius Slay on. If we
Right?
can
That
get
would be nice.
listen, if we can get back in the top 10, if we can trade our two number threes and get back in the top 10 or top 15 and get one of these receivers that's available, even a Jason Waddle, I have no problem taking the Patrick Surtain because he definitely is
Him and Slay, I think, would be a great
yeah, he's a top 10
combination.
pick. He's definitely a
Yeah.
top 10 pick.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
go into
Yep.
some of the comments, some funny comments out there. Everett is joking around with me. He's asking me, how's my arm? Then he says, Dark Knight for backup quarterback. Believe me, I am up for the role of backup quarterback as long as this involves me just being on the bench backing up and I don't ever have to get in the game. If I just have to hold the clipboard for 16 games, I'm your guy.
That's
And
the
you're going to
greatest
give me 2
position in
million. You're
NFL.
going to give me 2 million to do that. I'm your guy. Now, if you ask me to throw the ball anywhere, that's where we're going to have problems. So no, I'm not, I'm not the guy. Mr. Trubisky time, no. I think what I do agree with what you guys said is and I think that it could be summed up in that when this draft we need to draft players that are going to be starters or contributors to this team. We don't need any bench players or anything like that. Our first we need to bring players onto this team. We need players on this team. That's what we need. So we've been striking out a lot in these past few years in drafts. Like I heard the numbers on one show I was looking at the other day, and our record or our percentage of players that we draft that actually stay on the team or stay in the league at that for that matter is very low. We don't not only do are we not drafting players that are contributing to our team, we're drafting players that are not contributing to anybody's team because they're not even making it in the league. We're not even drafting players that are NFL players. So it's imperative that we in this year in this rebuild that we draft players that are going to be contributors, hopefully starters. Hopefully starters that we especially in the early rounds. If we got our number 6 pick is better be a mainstay in the starting lineup. We cannot afford to whiff. We cannot afford to use this number 6 pick and get a guy who's a special teamer or get a guy that's barely making a roster. We can ill afford to do that with the number 6 pick in the draft. We've got to hit on this. We need to hit on the second round pick too. Howie usually does good in the later rounds, but we need him to him to hit it out the park in these first 3 rounds. First, second, and third round, we need contributors. We need playmakers. We need franchise changers. That's what we need. This is a rebuild, so that's what we're going to need. We're going to need franchise changers, and hopefully Howie, I don't know, nobody has any confidence in him, including myself. I don't have a lot of confidence in Howie Roseman, but in hearing past reports, especially like last year when the coaching staff actually wanted Rager, but the scouts wanted Justin Jefferson. Howie, you're in a position now. Listen to the scouts, please. Please listen to the scouts. Don't go on your own hunch. Please, by no means, go off of Jeffrey Lurie's recommendation until he shows me a certificate where he's been certified as a talent evaluator. If he hasn't done that, please do not listen to Jeffrey Lurie's suggestion on who we should pick.
I gotta say this. I do have to point out something, right? And let you guys know Patrick Surtain is about 6 foot, touching almost 6'1". Asante Samuel Jr. is about his real height is probably 5'10". He's listed at 5'11", so he's
I want
probably
the taller
5'10".
corner.
They are both 2 outstanding corners. But besides that, let me get to this. All right. We talk about how much Howie Roseman is not a talent devourer. He's not. The scouts are there for a reason. Listen to the scouts. The scouts are the reason why we got a Jordan Mailata in the 7th round and give him a try, and he may be our future left tackle. You know, the reason the scouts are a reason why we were able to pick up a guy like Elijah Qualls in the 6th round in 2017 to solidify that defensive line for the Super Bowl, right? The scouts are a reason why we're able to pick up a K'Wan Wallace in the 4th round to be maybe our next starting safety. So listen to your scouts. Listen to your scouts because the scouts are doing their job. Don't look at these YouTube videos of these kids, and that's everybody out there. If you're going out there and look at YouTube highlights, you're not doing yourself due diligence. You have to look at the all 22 tape. You got to look at their failures and their success. That's what the scouts do.
All right, some comments out here. David Lockerman, yes, Wallace, we haven't had a feared safety since Dawkins. Wide receiver don't fear coming across the field anymore.
NFL has changed. The NFL has changed. You can't do that anymore.
They won't let them. Yeah, they won't let the safeties kill these receivers nowadays. Mm-hmm. You can't. You got it. You got when you get up. If you running real fast and you're about to collide with it, you better 1, 2, 3 hold them. You better 1, 2, 3 hold them.
You got to do your hip. You got to turn your head this way, and you got to put the shoulder out that way. That's called a dislocated shoulder. You see that? You see that right there?
You got a 1, 2, 3. Remember we played football in the street, and you play 1, 2, 3 hold. That's what you play football. That's how you play NFL
with your tackle.
1, 2, 3 hold.
For tackle.
All right, man. This guy, Howie has a big task ahead of him. He has an extra 3rd-round pick this year.
Yes, he does.
He may be able to make a good use of a 3rd-round pick. We're
all
shaky.
Howie. Let's just say the Eagles because I don't want Howie picking anything.
Well, he is, Michelle.
No.
All right. I'm gonna close my eyes. My eyes. Look at my eyes are closed.
Howie's not picking anything.
No, and he's still going to make the pick. My eyes are closed, and Howie's still going to make the pick. I don't care what we do. We can close our eyes. We can look the other way, but Howie's making that pick, and that's what we're all afraid of. Howie's making that pick.
Hold on, Dark Knight. Hold on, Dark Knight.
Coaches are making the pick, and Howie is just executing.
No, this is the sound we're going to hear. This is the sound we hear. And with the 1st-round draft pick, Kyrie Roseman of the Philadelphia Eagles chooses to move back to the 2nd round.
I wouldn't be necessarily against that if he moved back.
The move back to the 2nd round?
No,
but not the 2nd round. Not the 2nd round. I'm talking about. There's going to be. Don't get it twisted. Now there's going to be, and it may be a possibility at number 6. There's going to be instances where Howie is probably may trade the pick to move back and get an extra pick.
Don't the coaches get a say in that?
No, not these coaches. They're yes men.
I think these coaches are going to have a say in that because I think the fact that they let them pick his staff, he can't not have any say in these drafts. What you going to do? Just you pick a staff and then the staff gets no say? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's not like years past. Years past, you were able to be in the stands. This year, you really have to listen to your scouts because they're the ones that are able to go to these stadiums and sit in the 70th row and watch these guys play because they're probably the only ones that were in the stands watching these guys. Besides that, there are nobodies. Some of these games, there are no film on these guys. It's a guy from I forget his name from Georgia, Tyson Campbell. He's 6'1". He's a tall corner. He's a lengthy corner. He's an outstanding corner for Georgia. He didn't play. I don't believe he played the full season. He will be an actual number 1 round pick if we had people in the stands. So these gems going to be. We're going to hit on some of these gems if you listen to your scouts.
You should be the scout, Pat.
Yeah, Chuck Lewis.
I would love to.
I'm sorry. Chuck Luke says, with the 1st-round pick, the Eagles have traded for a cheesesteak and 2 bags of Hertz chips. Wow, that's horrible. Mike Hines says, if Howie can turn the number 6 into 2 number 1s, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that too. If he can turn the number 6 pick into 2 number 1s, I might be okay with that. But at number 6, man, you can get a playmaker, man. Patrick
Yes, we
Surtain.
can.
I'm starting to
Certain.
lean towards Nichelle too. Patrick Surtain at number 6 sounds good to
Come
me,
on
man.
over.
Listen, I want y'all to
Oh
look.
my
I want y'all
goodness.
to go look at this guy. His name is Tyson Campbell. He plays with Georgia. He's about 6'1". They list him at 6'2", so that means he's 6'1" or 6 foot. All right, he's going to be available in the second and the third rounds. Because he didn't play. I believe he didn't play a full season, and he locked down Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is considered the fastest receiver in this draft coming up. He may be a guy that you want to take a look at.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show. Actually, that's the end of the fourth quarter. I
Oh
have
wow!
taken 4 shots. I didn't
Yes.
plan on coming here taking 4 shots. Good grief! I was thinking like I'm only going to take 2 shots, and now the show is over. I'm like,
You're
damn, I
like,
took
what's
4
going
shots.
on?
Yeah. All right,
Yo,
guys.
Everett was like, "This is the end of the seventh quarter. Now this is the
Yeah,
end
I
of the
know. He
eighth
kept
quarter."
he kept pulling our tail. Christopher Burton's out there too. Man, we thank all you guys for tuning in, man. Let's celebrate. This is a cause for celebration. We have the Wentz era is over. We
Can I
can
do one
move
thing real
on and
quick
we can
before we end?
officially start the rebuild. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so today's a special day. It's my mom's birthday. I'm not gonna say how many years because it's gonna get my age out. So, Mama, I love you. I can't wait till this COVID is over so I can actually give you a hug. I can give you a kiss. I miss you, even though you live around the corner from me, and I can walk there and look at you in the window. So, Mama, I love you, and like the boys been said, you're awesome, and I appreciate you.
All right. Happy birthday, cousin Pat.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna sit here and cry.
All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy birthday to Pat's mom, my cousin, Patricia Sandlin. So thank you guys, and we will be back next Thursday, 7 o'clock, man. And hopefully, nothing
Show's over,
happens.
Pat.
Hopefully, yeah.
Show's over.
Hopefully,
Oh,
nothing
for the new
happens.
era. For the new era.
Oh,
Hmm.
for the new era. Oh God,
It's a
I'm not.
it's
doing
a half
it
it's
for
a
the
half
new
a shot. It's a half a shot. And for my mom. It's a half a shot.
All right,
All
shout
right.
out to Mom.
Okay, I'll do a
That
half a
one
shot
off.
for mom. That was a good. That was a good recovery right there.
Hmm.
All right, so this is for Mama Sandlin. Happy birthday,
Yes.
down the hatch, 321. Uh, Meanwhile, we will be back next Thursday, 7 o'clock. Hopefully, nothing big happens. We got rid of Carson Wentz, so it should be relatively quiet over this next week, right? We'll probably just hear a
No.
lot of criticism of Howie and how
Well,
the
wait a
trade and
minute.
what people.
Zach Ertz
What?
about to get traded for a first. You heard it
If
from
he
me
get, I
first.
don't think he getting traded for no first. I don't think that's gonna happen.
That's not going to happen. Why
Nah,
you
nah.
gassing us up?
Yeah, don't
I don't know
gas us
because
up.
my wife said she waiting for a shot, so I got her shot ready.
All right. Okay, guys. We'll see you guys next week, 7 o'clock, same bat channel, same bat time. I'm your man, Dante the Dark Knight. For my co-host, Pat Sandlin and Michelle, we'll see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.
We go live in 5, 4, 3.